Ooh, that's another thing. Speaking of like economic conspiracies, did you know that HP owns like a monopoly on like fucking ink cartridges, and that's why ink cartridges are so fucking expensive? Like them and like, but like it's not a monopoly because technically it's three competitors. It's like them. Fuck, I forget the other printers' names, but you know what I'm talking about. The other printers that aren't HP. There are three companies who decided to form a triad essentially, and that triad was like, yeah, we're the only big printer competitors. Why not monopolize ink cartridges and make it super expensive for the user and make it so they have to buy a new printer every 5 years? And so they made this little coup, not coup, but like a little pact between the three of them, and that's why the video I watched. I'm butchering it, but like the video I watched really went into it and explained it a lot better, and it was explaining how monopolies still exist, but there's ways to get around it if you cooperate. It's it's just like there's a loophole for everything, or it's like technically non-monopoly because they're competitors, but because they're in like a little triad, they might as well be one company. On paper, they're three separate entities, but in practice, they're one entity, and they're monopolizing all this money, and that's why you have to pay like $80 just to change your toner. That's why it costs so much when you have to make copies at the printers. Man, I used to love it when people. That's one of the few things I miss about my old job at Staples is when people would like be on the business call and someone would be like, "Where are you?" It's like, "Hold up, I'm at the printers." Always made me feel legit. I don't know how to explain. Like I was important. Like I was crucial to the business eco not ecosystem, the business world. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but the business. I don't know. I felt important to their ecosystem. I should say. I felt like I mattered. I was crucial. Just like Dunkin' Donut coffee was crucial, and water coolers. I mean, I guess that's what everyone feels like when they do a service job. They want to feel like they're bettering their community. You know, they don't want to feel like they're grinding for people who are going to treat them like shit and get underpaid. I feel like at the end of the day, you want to feel like you're serving your community. Me, I have no fake qualms about this job. I know what I'm doing. I'm selling that wine to those rich people. I'm getting people fucked up, and I'm making a buck off it. Let bro, you see, it's funny because I'm so worried about like these inflation, economy. I'm gonna be entering a fucking recession-proof business. You know what happens when people get depressed? They drink. You know what happens when people lose their jobs and lose all their money? They drink. Literally, the Great Depression couldn't stop bootleg liquor, bro. It's foolproof. Like, oh, but it's a dangerous substance and it's killing people. Hey, man, cigarettes kill people and niggas sell that shit all the time. I don't know. Maybe I'll stay up at night after like some drunk guy stumbles in. He's like, "Can I get a couple bottles?" But who knows? I had a friend. Well, actually, Eric. I can say Eric. He's been on here before. Eric used to work at a liquor store, and he'd have some stories to tell me. But I don't know. This seems like a high end place, but again, my town isn't high end, so we'll see. We are the Radiator Springs of real life, shanty town. But hey, man, liquor thrives on shanty towns. I will say this: the liquor store by my shop, right? People be in and out. They be going in there with bags and cases and shit. They be in there frequent. I'm telling you, man, this coronavirus, a lot of people got fucked up during coronavirus. Yeah, it reminded me of this. It is so funny. Stevie Emerson, really funny comedian. Um, he had this like quarantine video where like the joke was like they ran out of White Claw because the whole idea was that like, oh, we're not spending one day of quarantine sober. Because like those initial months where people weren't doing nothing. Um, you know what I'm talking about. Like in May, when like people just like they're like, okay, I can't go to work. I have some savings, and I have toilet paper for now. And I'm going to be careful, and I'm only going to go out for essential shit. I'm not going to travel and shit. When people weren't doing nothing, essentially. And I should say, I shouldn't even say people weren't doing it. I should have said people were being safe.